Hello. Today I'm going to be going over my learning experience, which was painting for an animator. So for my project, I decided to go to painting with a twist. The only part was I wasn't allowed to do the twist part because the assignment is due on March the 10th, and unfortunately my 21st birthday is on March the 12th. So I attended an all-age classes with my girlfriend. Um, the reason I chose this is because I have a very different art style than a 2D medium, which is painting. I, as I'm going to show, am more of a 3D animator, if one would say. I prefer to look at things in a three-dimensional light rather than two-dimensional because I'm not very good with those type of shadows and designs. Um, there's one example of my art style. My next example is my senior year animation that I spent a whole year on. I'll just show a few clips of it. Just there's a general idea of what I prefer to do. Then I also do things like scenes and textures because I like the look of things like that. This is my Excalibur rendition that I made that same year. I think it looks really cool. Um, but the learning theory I decided to choose for this was andronergy because this task is more task oriented and me learning what I want to do, and rather than me doing it for the sake of memorization, for the sake of a test, this is learning to better myself. Um, so this applies because they give you an instructional on what they would like you to do, but you're allowed to use any form of creativity you want for yourself. And I find that to be one of the best things about art is because there's so many different ways you can do the same thing that you won't ever have to worry about if I'm going to do it wrong or right. Art is just about learning. So the process it took me a while to find an all ages class since I'm still technically a minor for a few more days. Um, but after I found the class, I just had to end up paying for it, which it was only $25. But me being a college student, I did end up forgetting about the payment part of it up until the day of. But I ended up having a really great time. I took my girlfriend, who is an accomplished painter who paints portraits and murals for other people, and she showed me the ropes of what we were doing there and how this could affect my animation skills. Um, this is the object we were supposed to be painting. It was Sammy the sea turtle. As you can see, it's a very basic painting rendition, but it has different styles in it. There's different textures, there's different color mixtures, and so forth. But me and my girlfriend ended up going, and so they taught us the basics of mixing the colors, how to mix the colors, how to mix them right. And that's something I've struggled with is color placement. Something in animation that's super easy is you just click and paste a color. You get to paste the color you want everywhere. You're not taught this is the shading you need to do. This is the contrast on a real object. One of the things that was offered with the painting in the twist class, it shows that the different shadows and the different techniques you can use for the different depths of the sea and also the different parts of the turtle. Um, this is the step by step. They gave us an instructional template around the turtle just so we had the basic shape because we only had an hour and a half to prepare for our class. And this is just the steps we went through. Is first we painted the water, then we went through and painted the shell, then the skin of the turtle. And as you can see, my turtle is a little bit different than it because I wanted to take my own creative liberty and use my own art style in this rather than just copying their art style. And so with this, I even took it a step further. I tried my hand at texturing because my girlfriend was also trying to teach me art styles that she had learned and picked up on. So I tried to mimic the real world aspects of texturing because that is one thing I am not good at in animation, is texturing. I'm good at the movement, the making, but I am no good with color. And so these are just the final steps is that I added the textures to the dorsal fins and the shell, and then the eyes and the face, and then that pretty much rounded out the class and the time we had. Um, but the reason I took this class is because I do love art. Art is one of my favorite hobbies in the world. I prefer modern architectural digital Not really big on performance art. This is a whole nother can of worms. But I'm very good at digital art, and I wanted to learn in order to branch out my avenues because in high school I was taught to specialize in one form for college because I used to want to be in the animation department. Then when I grew up, it became more of a hobby when I learned more about how the real world works. So I wanted to be able to do the pipeline process all myself without having to rely on anyone else since I will not be going into the industry like I thought I was going to. And so, in order to keep my digital art skills on edge, I need to learn more and more real world art styles because the more real world art styles I know, the more I can apply it to my digital art and make it as best as I can.